Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you have ever started a new data science or machine learning project, you know that the first R is the most critical. What you do in those initial moments can set you up for success or lead you down a path of confusion. Today we are going to walk through a complete Python script that covers the essential first steps: loading, inspecting, cleaning and visualizing a brand new dataset. We will be working with a fascinating bridge sensor dataset. By the end of this video, you will have a solid reusable template for your own projects. So let's get started. Alright, first things first. Every Python data project begins with importing the right tools. Here we are bringing in the holy trinity of data science. Pandas, aliased as PD, is our workhorse for loading and manipulating the data in data frames. NumPy or NP is for numerical operations, especially when we get into arrays and calculations. And finally, Matplotlib and Seaborn are our go-to libraries for creating beautiful and informative visualizations. With our libraries imported, we use the pd.read_csv function to load our dataset. This function reads a comma-separated values file and turns it into a pandas data frame, which we are storing in a variable called df. This is the foundation of everything we will do next. Okay, the data is loaded, but what's actually in it? We need to do some detective work here. I always start with these 5 commands. Df.head shows us the first 5 rows. It is a quick and easy way to get a feel for the columns and the kind of data they hold. We can see things like timestamp, acceleration, temperature, and so on. Next, df.info. This is my favorite command for a quick health check. It tells us the number of entries, the column names, how many non-null values are in each column, and most importantly, the data type of each column. Look here, timestamp is an object, which means it is being treated as a string. That's something we will need to fix. Describe gives us a statistical summary of all the numerical columns: the count, mean, standard deviation, min, max, and the quartiles. This is fantastic for spotting the potential issues. For example, if you see a max value that seems impossibly high, you might have an outlier on your hands. Finally, we explicitly check for the problems. df.isNull.sum counts the number of missing values in every column. In our case, it looks like this dataset is perfectly clean, zero nulls. And df.duplicated.sum checks for any duplicate rows, again zero. This is a very clean dataset, but in real world, you would often find issues here that need fixing. Now we move from inspecting to acting. Remember how df.info told us that timestamp was a string? Let's fix that. We are selecting the timestamp column and using the pd.to_datetime to convert it. This function is powerful. It can intelligently parse most date formats. By converting it, we can now perform time-based operations, which is super useful. This is a simple but effective form of feature engineering. Since we have a proper datetime object, we can easily extract just the date part or just the time part into new columns. The .dt accessor is what lets us do this. This can make it easier to group data by day or analyze the patterns at specific times. Next, we clean up by removing the columns we don't need. The bridge_id and sensor_id might be useful in different contexts, but for our general structural health model, they might just be noise. We also drop the original timestamp column because we have already extracted the parts we need. Axis is equal to 1 tells pandas to drop the columns, not rows, and in place is equal to true modifies the data frame directly. Now that our data is clean and prepped, now for the fun part, visualization. We are going to create a reusable function to analyze our numerical columns. Writing a function like this is a great habit. Instead of writing plotting code over and over for each column, we define it once. This function will take our data frame and a column name and it will generate a box plot and a histogram for us. Then we create a loop. df.select_dtypes. Let us grab only the numerical columns, the floats and the integers. The loop then calls over the inspect_column function for each one. Let's see the output. Okay, look at this. For acceleration_x, we get two plots. The box plot on the left side and the histogram on the right side. The box plot is amazing for spotting the outliers. The box shows the middle 50% of the data. The lines or whiskers show the expected range, and any points outside of those are potential outliers. See these dots here. They might be extreme readings we need to investigate. The histogram shows us the shape or distribution of our data. This one looks fairly symmetrical. We also print the skewness value. A value close to 0 means it is symmetrical, and if the value was highly positive or negative, it would mean that the data is skewed and we might consider applying a transformation like a log scale. So far, we have focused on numerical columns, but what about the categorical ones, like the damage class? Understanding its distribution is crucial, especially if it is our target variable. For this, we use the SNS.count plot. It's simple yet powerful Seaborn function that automatically counts the occurrences of each category in a column and plots them as a bar chart. And here is the result. We can immediately see the breakdown of our data. We have a large number of minor damage reports, a good amount of no damage and moderate, and relatively few severe cases. This is a classic example of an imbalanced dataset. If we were building a model to predict the damage class, we would need to be mindful that our model might get very good at predicting the majority classes but struggle with the severe class. This insight is vital for the modeling stage. We have done a lot of work to get our data into this clean state. The last thing we want is to have to repeat these steps every time. So we are going to save our cleaned data frame to a new file. First, I am using the OS library to create a new directory called processed. The exist underscore OK is equal to true part is a neat trick to prevent an error if the folder already exists. Then we use the .2csv method on our data frame. We give it a new file path and name. The most important argument here is index is equal to false. When pandas saves our data frame, it will also save the row index as a new column by default. We don't need that, so we turn it off. Now in our next script, we can just load this cleaned file and get straight to modeling or feature engineering or things like that. Okay, for our final and most important steps before modeling, we need to understand how our variables relate to each other. Are temperature and humidity linked? Does acceleration have a strong relationship with the degradation score? The best tool for this is a correlation matrix. First, I am conceptually separating my data. While not strictly necessary for the correlation plot itself, this is a good practice as we get closer to machine learning. We create a features data frame by dropping our target variables and our target series, which contains the column we want to predict. In this case, structural condition. Here is the magic. We call dot correlation on our data frame to calculate the pairwise correlation between the all numerical columns. This gives us a new data frame of correlation values, but our table of numbers is hard to read. So we pass it to sns.heatmap. Let's break down the arguments. A note is equal to true tells the heat map to write the correlation value in each cell. FMT is equal to dot 2F formats those numbers to two decimal places, and CMAP is equal to coolbarn sets the color scheme. Here strong positive correlation will be red and strong negative correlation will be blue. Look at this. The heat map is a gold mine of information. The diagonal is all 1 because a variable is always perfectly correlated with itself. But the interesting parts are the off diagonal values. For example, let's look at our target structural underscore condition. If we follow this row across, we can see its correlation with every other feature. And look at this, it has a strong positive correlation of 0.95, which means 95% with the degradation score. This makes perfect sense. As the degradation score goes up, the structural condition values goes up. It also has a strong correlation of 0.93 with the forecast underscore score underscore next 30 days. This tells us that degradation score and forecast score are extremely important predictors for structural condition. On the other hand, things like acceleration x-axis and temperature have correlation very close to zero, suggesting they have almost no linear relationship with the structural condition. This is incredibly useful for feature selection. We can focus our model on the highly correlated features and potentially ignore the ones with very low correlation. And that is a wrap for our pre-modeling analysis. We have visualized our target variables, saved our clean data for the future use, and created a powerful correlation heat map to understand the relationships within our data. We have discovered an imbalanced dataset and identified our most promising features for a machine learning model. We are now officially ready to start building and training the models. But before that, we will do some feature engineering to make our data even more useful for modeling. If this walkthrough was helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for the next part where we will be doing feature engineering. Thanks for watching.